Did you know what the descendants of some celebrities do? Dr. Thomas Einstein is the great-grandson of the famous physicist, the author of The Theory of Relativity. A graduate of the UCLA School of Medicine, he currently administers a clinic in Los Angeles. He speaks 4 languages. Another great-grandson of Albert Einstein became a violinist. He currently lives in the south of France. Dree Hemingway, Ernest Hemingway's niece, was born in 1987. She is an American model and actress. So many descendants, we could talk about them for hours. I have a better idea. Some younger and more magical descendants. Hello everyone and welcome to Top Things. Don't forget to press the like button and subscribe after the sensational video that follows. So, those descendants. I'll tell you directly what we're going to talk about. The children of the most evil characters in childhood stories. Yep, the Descendants. More accurately, Descendants 1 to 3 cast, then and now. As fans are hoping for the arrival of Descendants 4, we choose to impart to you a few insights regarding its main cast. All updates about what the Descendants cast are doing today are here. Sophia Carson. Would you be able to accept that simply a short time back the entertainer had nothing of promise to her name before her Disney appearance as the daughter of the evil queen? Since the Descendants debut, the entertainer has become a player within the music business and signed with Hollywood Records and Republic Records. Her new single, Miss You More Than You Know, was streamed 1.5 million times in under 2 weeks. On top of some amazing collaborations with Alan Walker, Julia Michaels and Rehab, Sophia also manages to squeeze in some acting. Her latest part of April in the new Netflix hit film Feel the Beat was a significant role. We are pulled back to reality when Carson is compelled to abandon her fantasy about being a Broadway star and instead becomes a dance teacher for youngsters. Right now, Sophia is recording a sentimental spine chiller, Songbird, with Riverdale's KJ Apple. The plot is set a long time from now where these two lovebirds are battling against all odds to endure and remain together during a pandemic. Sounds a little familiar. And here we were trusting that the media could help us get away from the real world. A year ago, Carson turned into the main global ambassador of the Latin Grammy, advancing accomplishments in the Latin music industry, which was a major honour for the entertainer and her Colombian legacy. But more importantly than that, Sophia even got an embrace from Oprah Winfrey after one of the design shows. She has already accomplished a lot on her way to fulfill her dreams from a young girl to become a phenomenal entertainer. Booboo Stewart as Jay. It seems like the entertainer has 40 hours in his day, because what Stewart has figured out how to accomplish by 26 is beyond staggering. The role of Jay was no big deal for Booboo. He was acquainted with the business at 10 years old as a model. Even before the 2015 Descendants film, Stewart was already a martial arts junior world champion, a heartbreaker from the Twilight Saga, and a filmmaker, which is totally nuts. In the middle of the Disney films, Stewart secured the part of Vic Lakota in the TV spin-off of American Satan, Paradise City, which premiered this month. The entertainer's timetable is pressed. The Disney star has potentially 12 films in the pipeline, along with making music with band That Band Honey. Despite all this, Booboo discovered opportunities to join his 2 interests, painting and charity work, to help raise money for the COVID-19 relief fund. So, if there is a window of opportunity for the entertainers to join Descendants for episode 4, it may not be for a while. Sarah Jeffery. The 24-year-old Canadian entertainer has been performing in front of an audience since she was 3, so it is difficult to imagine her in a normal profession after all that Disney work. After the part of Aurora's little girl, the entertainer has been depicting the youngest of the Witch sisters, Maggie Vera, in the Charmed reboot. However, in contrast to her Descendants role, Jeffery plays on the contrary side to the troublemakers. Look how the tables have turned. Lockdown caused season 3 to be postponed, along with our ability to see Sarah and her wizardry skills once more. During this time though, the entertainer broadened her horizons and dedicated some time to creating some rousing verbs. Here, I shall try and do it some justice. We are all but skin and bones, carcasses that host our souls, while we inhabit this home planet and are free to roam. but in the eyes of some, it would seem our flesh determines our goodness. Am I not worthy? My skin is deeper than the blood of a cherry, yours the colour of bone. Should I be stripped of my humanity because my pigment is stronger than yours? On top of that, Jeffery had a pretty impressive start in the music industry. After Jeffrey's single for Descendants 3, Queen of Mean, fetched nearly 270 million views on YouTube and got onto the Billboard Hot 100, the actress was ready to transition into a breakthrough pop star. We bet her charmed co-star Nick Hargrove is proud of his Queen of Mean. The two are absolute goals. Find yourself a man who does all the promotional work for your new song while you're napping. Refreshingly, the entertainer utilises her 2 million Instagram and Twitter followers to share something beyond avocado toast pictures. Sarah is open about her suffering from OCD and uses these platforms to raise awareness of the battles numerous individuals face with this condition every day. Dove Cameron. 8-year-old Dove had her life objectives planned out. She entered the theatre and never left it. In the wake of the waves created by her Descendants soundtracks in the Billboard charts, her music career shot to an entirely new level. She signed with Columbia's Disruptor Records and began dropping singles immediately. Her music collaborations included Benny Blanco, Juice, WRLD and Bayer. At this point, the Disney star has gathered around 100 million views on her YouTube and 38 million followers on Instagram. It's safe to say that Dove is a hard worker. Just imagine transforming yourself from a bullied little girl in the 5th grade to an Emmy-winning entertainer acting alongside Jennifer Aniston. Well, you'd better believe it, she did all that. While Dove's otherworldly white hair hasn't disappeared when the Disney franchise was finished, or has it, the entertainer was done with children's films. Cameron excelled with her voiceover work in Marvel Rising, and then returned to the stage in the famous musical Clueless. Presently, the entertainer is totally killing it in her role in Vengeance, the blood and gore murder mystery thriller with Ashton Kutcher. Talking of attractive entertainers, do you think her sweetheart Thomas Doherty ever gets envious of Dove kissing different folk on set? Well, the cat's out of the bag. The two can't keep their affection covered up any longer. In a meeting with E.T., Doherty at last spilled the beans, saying Dove is the one for him. What's more, when talking about the kissing part, Thomas dismissed it as saying, "It is weird, but I guess it is part of the job. We love each other. We trust each other." Aww. At the end of the day, they are much the same as other couples, irritating each other in isolation and eating donuts and pizza for dinner. Meanwhile, on a more serious note, Dove actually works with the Cameron Boyce Foundation to help preserve her co-star's legacy. The entertainer has contributed to help attain their goals of reducing gun crime and curing epilepsy, along with supporting the COVID-19 Relief Fund. Mitchell Hope. Would you be able to think of the epic Descendants team without imagining Mitchell's enchanting abs? Sorry, I mean grin. Before his Disney break, Hope had no faith in the business and nearly quit acting completely. Trying out for King Ben was the straw that broke the camel's back. Unfortunately, the rest, as you know, is history. The Australian entertainer was finished with short movies and zeroed in on acting full-time. In contrast to his Disney co-stars, Mitchell went straight for the lead parts in rom-coms. You can never have enough of those, wouldn't you agree? For all Netflix fans, here is a film for you. The entertainer featured in a transitioning romantic comedy called Let It Snow, with Kiernan Shipka herself. The chemistry between the two was fantastic. However, the show was stolen by his sweetheart Taylor Audrey and their baby puppy, Harvey, that they were nurturing together. On screen, the entertainer is consistently portraying romantic roles, such as his most recent sentiment, Love You Like That. In reality, however, Hope is somewhat more wacky. Forget the extravagant arranged pics and coordinated Instagram feed. This person definitely has a little bit of crazy. Appears as though Mitchell's energy for recording his unfiltered life has got him some superstar fans though, like KJ Apper. Thomas Doherty. Just a few years ago, the Scottish entertainer was waiting tables, but now has a huge number of fans all over the world. Not only did Thomas get to meet the one on the set of Descendants, his gifted and dearest co-star Dove Cameron, he also had the chance to kiss Zoe Kravitz herself. Doherty is one of those Disney characters that interest in has cooled in recent times. However, on the off chance that D4 really happens, Mitchell should hand his title of Chief Heartbreaker of that universe to Thomas. Did you realise that last year Vogue named Thomas one of the 50 fittest young men on the planet? His last Instagram post was simply a photograph of his abs. We can't decide whether it is somewhat vain or just simply a possibly improper posting that we, as a whole, need on occasion. In spite of boisterous titles, great creative gifts and enamouring jobs, Thomas stays under the radar and is private about his life. Apart from the abs, obviously. I think they were more interesting Descendants. What do you say? Leave a comment, subscribe, and don't forget to turn on notifications to be notified when a new video appears. Take care of yourself.